Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. I just saw the trailer for DC's Birds of Prey movie. And this movie, if they're going to call it that, is one of the worst things I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what kind of stuff they're on over at Warner Brothers, whether it be heroin, crack cocaine. I don't know what they're on over there, but it has to be some kind of strong for a Hollywood executive to go out here and greenlight a script this bad for production and to release a trailer for a film this bad to the public. When I take a critical examination of this Birds of Prey trailer, I don't see a single element from those classic Birds of Prey comic books that came out in the mid-1990s. Now, Birds of Prey, when it came out as a comic series, featured Barbara Gordon as Oracle, Black Canary, the Huntress, and sometimes Blue Beetle and other heroines helping Batman out in Gotham City and other cases that Batman couldn't handle. But when I look at this Birds of Prey movie, I don't see any of those classic elements of that classic comic series. I don't see anything referencing the classic clock tower that Oracle worked out of. I don't see anything related to the Batman or the Batman family, which is a core element to the Birds of Prey comic series, because, again, that series was all about Barbara Gordon recruiting heroines like Black Canary and the Huntress to take on those cases that Batman couldn't take on all by himself. And in some books, they would bring in Nightwing and Robin to help out the Birds of Prey, and sometimes Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle, would come in as well. And on occasion, they would bring in Power Girl or Big Barda to help out on a case. But the series was supposed to be about strong heroines who were able to go out here and work and show how they were on the same level as Batman, solving those cases and working those cases that Batman didn't have time to work on because he was working on other cases out there because there was so much going on in Gotham and all over the world. But I don't see any of those story elements that made the Birds of Prey comic series one of the best comic series of the 90s. No, we get this derivative story, which is all about Harley Quinn's so-called emancipation. And this so-called emancipation of Harley Quinn story has all of the tropes of your SJW comics brought to life. So when I look at this Birds of Prey movie trailer, I don't see a DC superhero trailer. I just see the first SJW DC movie come to life. Because this movie's trailer is all about so-called female empowerment, so-called girl power, and they've brought the Black Mask in to promote the idea of the evil white man they need to bring down. And this whole movie's plot, when you look at the trailer, is all about promoting feminism and social justice and not giving us an action-packed adventure featuring heroines working together to protect Gotham City. No, we get a story that promotes social justice tropes and social justice narratives thrown at us, where they preach to us the whole concept of girl power. And as they promote the whole idea of girl power to the audience, we get all of this forced diversity casting, like the Journey Smollett as Black Canary, recoloring and reskinning the Black Canary character who was a white woman and making her a black woman, because these social justice types think because, oh, her name is Black Canary, so we're going to cast a black woman. And then we get your Huntress, who doesn't look anything like the Huntress at all. And we also get Harley Quinn, who is basically a Mary Sue character in this story, capable of doing anything and everything, even though she doesn't have any superpowers. Now, I find it interesting that they didn't bring Barbara Gordon into this story, and that's very interesting to me because Barbara Gordon represents everything positive about women in Birds of Prey. Your Barbara Gordon was a disabled woman going out here and working with information technology. She was leading this Birds of Prey team of people like Huntress, and the original Birds of Prey concept was one that featured strong heroines, and those strong heroines going out here and being the equal of their male counterparts, and in some cases working with their male counterparts effectively. Unfortunately, instead of taking that great concept which was created by Chuck Dixon and making it adapt to the silver screen, we get this forced, far-left social justice version of Birds of Prey, and this far-left social justice version of Birds of Prey is nothing like the source material. Now, I'm noticing a disturbing trend with these superhero movies as of late, and I started to see this with SpiderMan Homecoming, where these filmmakers are believing that they can derive from the source material and start to create their own story. And I don't really like seeing this trend of walking away from the source material to tell your own story, because this is the kind of stuff that led to the decline of the whole superhero genre, starting with when your Joel Schumacher decided that he wasn't going to follow the source material the way Tim Burton did with his Batman movies, and decided to give us this campy, schlocky Batman who made puns, and that practically torpedoed the entire superhero movie genre. And I'm starting to see this now over with Warner Brothers, where films like Birds of Prey and Spider-Man Homecoming, you have these filmmakers believing they can go out here and walk away from the source material. And I also see it with this new Joker movie, where you have filmmakers believing that their version is a better version, and I'm not liking seeing this direction as related to superhero movies. I'm not a fan of this Birds of Prey movie, and just like I'm not a fan of Spider-Man Homecoming or Joker for that part, because I want to see superhero movies literally be like a comic book come to life. And this is one of the things that makes me fear that we are at the end of the superhero movie genre, because when you have movie studios deriving from the source material and walking away from the original stories that these characters were based on, and are not making efforts to translate the stories that these characters are based on from panel to panel to the screen, we are in a really bad place when it comes down to superhero movies. And this Birds of Prey movie really shows how bad a place we're in right now, because this film is absolutely nothing like the source material. It is none of the characters are like the characters from the comics. The story is nothing like the story from the comics. It is basically somebody's social justice ideas pushed on to these characters, and it is them projecting their ideas onto these characters, promoting their identity politics and their ideas onto these characters, and us being cheated out of an opportunity to see an adaptation of a great concept like Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, again, was one of the best comics of the late 90s and mid-90s, and it's sad that we're not going to get an opportunity to see that comic come to life on screen. And what's even sadder is that this comic, Birds of Prey, featured all of the elements many of the so-called social justice warriors say they wanted to see on screen, and it promoted your diversity, it promoted strong heroines, it promoted well-crafted stories. And sadly, because your social justice people wanted to go out here and reinvent a wheel that didn't need inventing, this is why we have this Turds of Prey movie and not a Birds of Prey movie. And this is one that I definitely, after looking at the trailer, am going to avoid, because I don't want to watch any social justice. I want to see superheroes meting out actual justice on bad guys on the silver screen. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up my books that feature heroines like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, or the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, or the Thetas, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today.